Wait, what if your strongest desires are actually your greatest weakness? There is a quiet war happening inside you. It is not visible, yet it shapes your choices, your focus, your future, and your identity. It is the battle between desire and discipline. The ancient Stoics understood this battle deeply. Among them, Marcus Aurelius stood as a man who ruled an empire while also mastering himself. His greatest victories were not on the battlefield, but within his own mind. Desire, especially sexual desire, is one of the most powerful forces a human being can experience. It is natural. It is deeply rooted in biology. But the problem does not lie in the existence of desire, it lies in being controlled by it. A Stoic does not deny desire. A Stoic examines it, understands it, and ultimately governs it. When desire controls you, your attention becomes scattered. Your mind drifts. Your energy weakens. You begin to chase fleeting pleasure instead of building lasting strength. But when you control desire, something powerful happens. Your focus sharpens. Your discipline grows. Your mind becomes clear. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the body's cravings are temporary, but the consequences of actions can last far longer. He believed that giving in to every urge is not freedom, it is slavery. Think about that. Every time you act without control, you are not choosing. You are reacting. You are being pulled by impulse, not guided by reason. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in self-command. Not in suppressing yourself with force, but in understanding the nature of your impulses. Desire is like a spark. If left unchecked, it can grow into a fire that consumes your time, your attention, and your sense of purpose. But if managed properly, it can become fuel, energy that you direct toward growth, creation, and discipline. Marcus Aurelius would pause and question his thoughts. He would ask himself, "Is this necessary? Is this within my control? Will this make me stronger or weaker?" This kind of questioning creates distance between you and your impulses. Most people never pause. They feel something, and they act. But the Stoic pauses. And in that pause there is power. Sexual desire becomes dangerous when it turns into constant distraction. When your mind is always seeking stimulation, you lose the ability to sit with yourself. Silence becomes uncomfortable. Focus becomes difficult. The Stoic path is about reclaiming that focus. It is about training your mind to remain steady, even when urges arise. You are not your urges. You are the one observing them. This simple shift changes everything. Instead of saying, "I need this," you begin to say, "I notice this feeling." Instead of being pulled, you become aware. Marcus Aurelius practiced this awareness daily. He reminded himself that pleasure is not inherently good, and discomfort is not inherently bad. What matters is how these experiences shape your character. A man who is ruled by pleasure becomes weak. A man who can walk away from pleasure becomes strong. Sexual control, in the Stoic sense, is not about rejection of human nature. It is about refinement. It is about choosing when, how, and why you act, rather than being driven by impulse. There is a difference between enjoying something and being dependent on it. When desire becomes a habit, it rewires your brain to seek quick satisfaction. This weakens your ability to pursue long-term goals. Your motivation decreases. Your patience disappears. Stoicism teaches patience. It teaches that not every urge needs to be satisfied immediately. In fact, most do not. By delaying gratification, you strengthen your willpower. You prove to yourself that you are in control. Marcus Aurelius wrote his thoughts not for others, but for himself. His journal was a constant reminder to stay disciplined, to remain grounded, and to resist being carried away by impulses. You can adopt this same practice. When you feel overwhelmed by desire, write it down. Observe it. Understand it. Ask yourself, what triggered this? What am I actually seeking? Is this aligned with who I want to become? Often, desire is not about the thing itself. It is about escape. It is about avoiding boredom, stress, or discomfort. The Stoic does not run from discomfort. He faces it. He understands that growth often comes from resisting the easy path. Sexual energy, when uncontrolled, becomes a source of distraction. But when controlled, it becomes a source of strength. It fuels discipline. It sharpens focus. It builds confidence. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your mind becomes quieter. Your actions become more intentional. Marcus Aurelius believed that a man should be defined by his actions, not his impulses. He understood that giving in to every desire weakens character. But resisting unnecessary desires builds it. This is not an easy path. There will be moments when your mind tries to convince you to give in. It will justify. It will rationalize. It will make the urge seem urgent and necessary. But remember, urgency is often an illusion. Most desires fade if you do not act on them immediately. The Stoic learns to wait. In waiting, you regain control. You begin to realize that you are not controlled by your feelings, you are in control of your response to them. This is the essence of discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It frees you from being controlled by temporary urges. It allows you to act with purpose. Marcus Aurelius faced immense pressure as an emperor. He dealt with war, politics, and responsibility. Yet he still prioritized mastering himself. If he could do it in such a demanding environment, then it is possible for you as well. Start small. You do not need to become perfect overnight. Begin by noticing your patterns. Observe when and why your desires arise. Then, practice delaying your response. Even a few minutes of delay can weaken the urge and strengthen your control. Over time, this becomes easier. Your mind adapts. Your discipline grows. You begin to feel a sense of control that most people never experience. This control extends beyond just one area of your life. It affects everything. Your work improves. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence increases. Because you know that you are not easily controlled. Marcus Aurelius believed that a strong mind is one that remains steady regardless of external or internal pressures. Sexual desire is just one form of pressure. Learning to manage it is part of building a strong mind. Do not view desire as your enemy. View it as a test. Each time you resist unnecessary impulses, you pass that test. Each time you act with intention, you grow stronger. The Stoic Path is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about becoming slightly better each day. Some days will be harder than others. There will be moments of weakness. But what matters is that you continue to practice. You continue to observe. You continue to improve. Marcus Aurelius did not claim to be perfect. He constantly reminded himself to stay disciplined. This humility is important. Do not judge yourself harshly. Instead, focus on learning. Every experience, whether you succeed or fail, is an opportunity to grow. The key is awareness. Without awareness, there is no control. With awareness, everything changes. You begin to see your thoughts clearly. You begin to understand your patterns. And once you understand them, you can change them. Sexual control is not about suppression. It is about mastery. It is about choosing your actions instead of being driven by impulses. This choice defines your character. Marcus Aurelius believed that your mind should be your strongest ally, not your greatest weakness. When your mind is disciplined, your life becomes more focused. You stop chasing distractions. You start building something meaningful. You begin to live with intention. And that is the true goal of Stoicism. Not just control, but clarity. Not just discipline, but purpose. As you continue on this path, remember that every moment presents a choice. You can act on impulse, or you can act with intention. You can be controlled, or you can take control. The path is not easy, but it is worth it. Because on the other side of discipline lies freedom. On the other side of control lies strength. And on the other side of awareness lies peace. There's a deeper layer to this discipline that most people never reach. At first, you are simply resisting. You are saying no to impulses. You are trying to hold yourself back. But over time, something changes. You no longer feel like you are fighting yourself. You begin to feel like you understand yourself. This is where the Stoic path becomes powerful. Marcus Aurelius believed that the mind, when trained properly, does not struggle endlessly, it aligns. It becomes calm, clear, and steady. Sexual desire, like all strong impulses, follows patterns. It rises, peaks, and fades. Most people act at the peak because it feels urgent. But the Stoic studies this cycle. You begin to notice that the urge is temporary. You begin to observe how it grows and how it weakens. And when you truly understand that it will pass, you stop fearing it. You stop reacting to it. Instead, you watch it like a wave. It rises. It crashes. It disappears. And you remain. This awareness removes the illusion of control that desire has over you. Because desire only feels powerful when you believe it must be satisfied immediately. But once you see its temporary nature, its power weakens. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that external pleasures are not what define a man. What defines him is his ability to act according to reason. This idea is simple, but it is not easy. Reason tells you to think long-term. Desire pulls you toward short-term pleasure. This conflict exists in every person. But the Stoic trains himself to side with reason. Each time you choose reason over impulse, you strengthen your discipline. Each time you delay gratification, you build control. And each time you act with intention, you reinforce your identity as someone who is not easily controlled. Over time, this becomes part of who you are. You are no longer someone trying to be disciplined. You become a disciplined person. There is a difference. When discipline becomes your identity, it no longer feels forced. It becomes natural. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of living in accordance with nature. This does not mean giving in to every natural urge. It means living according to your highest nature, your rational mind. Your instincts are part of you. But they are not your highest self. Your highest self is the part of you that can observe, think, and choose. This is what makes you powerful. Sexual control is one of the clearest ways to strengthen this part of yourself. Because it is one of the strongest impulses you will face. If you can manage this, you can manage almost anything. But this path requires honesty. You must be honest about your habits. You must be honest about your triggers. You must be willing to see yourself clearly. Many people avoid this. They distract themselves. They justify their actions. They pretend they are in control. But the Stoic does not lie to himself. He looks at his behavior directly. If something weakens him, he acknowledges it. If something distracts him, he confronts it. This honesty is the foundation of discipline. Without it, you cannot improve. Marcus Aurelius used journaling as a tool for this self-examination. He would reflect on his thoughts, his actions, and his responses. You can do the same. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I act with intention today? Did I allow impulses to control me? What can I improve tomorrow? This practice builds awareness. And awareness leads to control. Another important part of sexual discipline is environment. Your surroundings influence your behavior more than you realize. If you constantly expose yourself to triggers, you make the battle harder. The Stoic understands this. He removes unnecessary temptations. He creates an environment that supports discipline. This is not weakness. It is strategy. Marcus Aurelius understood that you cannot always control what appears in your mind, but you can control what you expose yourself to. If you fill your mind with distractions, your focus weakens. If you fill your mind with purpose, your discipline strengthens. This is why focus is so important. When your mind is engaged in meaningful work, desire loses its intensity. Because your attention is directed elsewhere. Idle minds are more vulnerable to impulse. Focused minds are stronger. This is not about avoiding life. It is about directing your energy. Sexual energy, when uncontrolled, is scattered. When controlled, it becomes concentrated. And concentrated energy is powerful. It allows you to pursue goals with intensity. It allows you to build something meaningful. Marcus Aurelius believed that your time is one of your most valuable resources. Every moment spent chasing unnecessary pleasure is a moment lost. This does not mean you should never enjoy life. It means you should choose your pleasures wisely. You should not be controlled by them. There is a difference between enjoyment and dependency. The Stoic enjoys what is appropriate, but he does not rely on it. He remains independent. This independence is strength. Because it means you are not easily influenced. You are not easily distracted. You are not easily controlled. Sexual discipline is part of this independence. It frees you from constant craving. It frees you from distraction. It allows you to think clearly. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea that many pleasures are not as valuable as they seem. He would break them down in his mind. He would look beyond the surface. This is a powerful technique. When you feel a strong desire, pause and examine it. Ask yourself, what is this really? What will this give me? What will it take from me? Often, you will realize that the pleasure is temporary, but the cost is longer lasting. This clarity helps you make better decisions. Because you are no longer blinded by impulse. You are guided by understanding. Another important aspect of Stoic discipline is acceptance. You must accept that desire will always exist. You cannot eliminate it completely. But you can change your relationship with it. Instead of seeing it as something you must act on, you see it as something you can observe. This shift is powerful. Because it removes the pressure. You no longer feel like you must respond. You simply notice. And in that noticing, you create space. Space between feeling and action. And in that space, there is control. Marcus Aurelius believed that this space is where your power lies. Not in the feeling itself, but in your response to it. This idea applies to everything in life. Not just desire, anger, fear, frustration. All of these are impulses. And all of them can be managed with awareness and discipline. Sexual control is simply one area where this practice becomes very clear. Because the impulse is strong. And the reward for control is equally strong. You gain clarity. You gain focus. You gain confidence. You begin to trust yourself. Because you know that you are not controlled by every urge. This self-trust is important. It builds a sense of stability. You feel grounded. You feel in control. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to remain steady, no matter what he felt. He understood that emotions and desires are temporary. But character is built over time. Each decision you make contributes to your character. Each moment of discipline strengthens it. Each moment of weakness is an opportunity to learn. This perspective removes guilt. Instead of judging yourself harshly, you focus on improvement. You focus on growth. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you give in. But what matters is how you respond afterward. Do you learn from it? Do you adjust? Do you continue forward? This is what defines your path. Marcus Aurelius did not expect himself to be perfect. He expected himself to keep trying. To keep improving. To keep aligning his actions with his values. This is what you should aim for. Consistency, not perfection. Over time, small improvements become significant. Your habits change. Your mindset changes. Your life changes. Sexual discipline becomes easier. Not because desire disappears, but because you become stronger. You become more aware. You become more in control. And this control extends into every area of your life. Your relationships improve. Because you are more present. Your work improves. Because you are more focused. Your confidence grows. Because you trust yourself. This is the true benefit of the Stoic Path. It is not just about control. It is about transformation. It is about becoming a person who is guided by reason, not impulse. A person who acts with intention. A person who is not easily shaken. Marcus Aurelius believed that this kind of person is truly free. Because he is not controlled by external forces or internal impulses. He is guided by his own understanding. This is the goal. Not to eliminate desire, but to master it. Not to suppress yourself, but to refine yourself. Each day presents an opportunity to practice. Each moment presents a choice. You can act on impulse, or you can act with intention. The more you choose intention, the stronger you become. And the stronger you become, the easier it is to choose intention. This creates a cycle of growth, a cycle of discipline, a cycle of control. And over time, this becomes your way of life. You no longer see discipline as something difficult. You see it as something natural, because it aligns with who you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote to remind himself of these truths. You can remind yourself as well. Through reflection, through practice, through awareness. This is the Stoic Path. A path of control. A path of clarity. A path of strength. Continue walking it, and you will begin to see the difference. Not just in how you manage desire, but in how you live your life. Follow me for more content like this, where we explore discipline, focus, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to help you build a stronger, sharper, and more controlled version of yourself.